Lives. Well, I want to thank you all for being here. I know it's like middle of the day. You guys haven't had lunch yet and kind of a little bit of the lull. So thank you for being here. My name is Tami DePalma, and I met Suzanne probably about 6 months ago through Matt as well. And so we do have a connection of being affected by drunk and impaired driving. And I know it's a lot to comprehend at your age because you're like she was saying, your frontal cortex, you're not designed to comprehend the consequences of some of these big things that we're talking about. So I want to thank you for being here today. And today I'm talking about it can't happen to me. And I know that can sound like a denial, but I want to turn that into reality, into a survival as well. So I want to help you continue with some tools to help you make that a reality for you so that you're surviving. So your prom is this weekend? Yeah, raise your hand if you're going to prom. And is it just seniors, juniors, or is it all ages at your school? Juniors and seniors? Juniors and seniors. Okay, awesome. And where is your prom? Ooh, cool. Nature and and you're going too? Mm-hmm. Ooh, fun. So at the Nature and Science Museum, and how are you guys getting there? Party buses? Your parents are driving? And then do you guys have an after prom?
Yeah.
And is it here?
No, it's actually at Boondocks this year.
Oh, interesting.
Which means a lot of driving. So I'm really hoping people are come up with some safe plans for all that.
Yes, me too. Okay, so what brought me here today? Next slide. So when I was not much older than you, my husband had graduated high school. He went to the military real quick. He came back and he wanted to be a police officer. And very early in his career, we had a family friend who, so he's at Golden Police Department, and we had a family friend who actually helped him get his job at the police department. And one day we got a call that this family friend's son had graduated. He was in the mountains for, working in the mountains, came back for a weekend to hang out with his friends. He was 18 years old. And they all got in a car, 5 kids in the car, and Kyle was sitting in the back seat. The driver, and I think all 5 of the kids at the time had been doing whatever 18-year-olds were doing then and encouraging some really unsafe behaviors. So they went up Lookout Mountain near Golden, and there weren't even skid marks off the side of the road. The driver just went right off the side of the road. Kyle was ejected from the vehicle, and the driver survived. Kyle did not. Being that this is a family friend, Kyle's mom, Virginia, approached my husband and said, "Hey, Gino, I would like to tour around to high schools and spread this message because no mother should have to feel what I'm feeling. And kids can do better, and I want to reach them." And so she would come, much like I'm doing today, and what like Suzanne was doing as well, and speak to kids all over Colorado. And she would bring a crash car. So the crash car? She'd bring the crash car, the car that her son died in. So they would drive up into the parking lot. So my husband would drive the crash car into the parking lot. The kids would walk through and they could look at the car, at the vehicle. They could see the dried blood on the roof of the car where Kyle flew out. They could see teeth marks on the dashboard. So my husband continued, and he drove around and did the crash car with Virginia because he wanted to make roads safer too. We didn't even have kids at the time, but he really knew how to connect with you guys, with kids, and he was very passionate about helping them be safer and make safer choices. And so he became a school resource officer. Do you guys have a school resource officer here? What's your, I think I saw an officer. What's his name? Martinez? Yeah. And so he was Officer Gino. He didn't even want to be, he didn't need the respect from kids of being Officer DePalma. He really connected with them. He was Officer Gino, Officer G. We will still be walking into a grocery store and a 30-year-old kid now will come up and be like, "Hey, Officer G," and he's like, "Oh," he's retired now, so he's not there anymore, but kids remember him and thank him for what he did to help them. So what's with me? Where's the crash car? Well, I'm not quite as brave as Virginia. And like I said, now we do have kids. And now that we have kids, I hear I'll say, make wise choices, be safe. What are some of the things you hear your parents say when you're leaving? You're going out for that, "Bye, Mom, I'm gone." What do you hear your parents say? Don't speed. What else? What's something you hear your parents say when you're leaving? Make wise choices. How about you? Put on your seatbelt. Excellent. Anything else? Okay, next slide. And so there a lot of the things that parents say, and I see it in my 17-year-old. I hear blah, blah, blah. Okay, mom. Yes, I hear you. Okay, He nods his head and he leaves. And in a way, I'm sure you guys do too. So yeah, now that we have kids, we do the same thing. Make wise choices. Don't drink and drive. Alcohol's bad for you. All the things that Suzanne was talking about all day today. My daughter's now in 6th grade, and my son went to Broomfield High School. Gino's no longer a police officer, and I don't have a crash cart today. So why am I here? What really brought me here today? Next slide. So I want you to relate to, this is my son Dominic, and I think he probably has something in common with a lot of you. How many of you have your first job? Are you guys working? Raise your hand if you're working. Yeah? And I know one of the really exciting things my son has recently done is bought a brand new pair of white Nike Air Jordans. Is that the runs? Yeah. Have you bought something really cool with your own money? It's kind of a cool feeling, huh? Did anybody have survived COVID on your Xbox? Yeah, that was the only way he was able to talk to his friends and like if you were playing Call of Duty or Fortnite with him, he would school you and then you would both laugh your butts off about it. Like he's amazing at Xbox and he's just a normal kid, just in goofy. If he was sitting behind you in class, he would like get a pencil and like play with the back of your hair, and then you'd go like this, and you guys both laugh about it. And if you're driving him around, he'd be the best backseat DJ you had ever heard of. And if you could just do the play, just a goofy kid, kind of like you.
It's simple, really. I just go for a daily booty shake.
That's my Dominic. So next slide. He's known as the Dominator. Do I have any soccer players here? Anybody play soccer, athletes at all? Yeah, up here. So Dominic, amazing at soccer. He has earned the name Dominator. That's his Xbox screen name. He's also known as Diesel because if you're coming up on him with the ball, he's like this truck that's just going to spin around, take you out. He's a competitor in every sense of the word. So then, next slide. Uh-oh. It's okay. So this then.
Oh, it's because we're on the school network.
Oh, okay. So this is the video on 9 News on July 30th, I think.
Oh, here it is.
Oh, thank you, American Furniture. So on July 28th, 2022, my son spent the afternoon with us. Keep it going, and I'll. Spent the afternoon with us, had some lunch, meticulously put on his brand new pair of white Nike Air Maxes.
A high school student who died last week in a car crash was identified today. The Boulder County Coroner's Office identified him, 17-year-old Michael DePalma, who went by Dominic. The crash happened last Thursday on Highway 287. 5 teens were in the car when it crashed with a semi. All 5 were taken to the hospital, where DePalma later died. His family posted an obituary today. They say Dominic was a passionate soccer player, and he and his mom had an unbreakable bond. They described him as a loyal friend and an exceptional older brother. His family has set up the Dominic DePalma Memorial Soccer Scholarship in his honor. The scholarship will provide access to soccer for other young adults who are just as passionate about the sport as he was.
At American Furniture Warehouse, you don't have to overpay.
July 28th, 2022. He spent the day with us. Around, I remember that day because we texted each other, and it was Wendy's where he worked. Was testing out new Wendy's spokespersons. You know, Wendy is the spokesperson, but they had like Bouffant Wendy, and Dominic replied that that's lit. I was downstairs in the kitchen, and he was up in his bedroom when we were texting each other, but it was quite funny. So we spent the day together. He came out and agonized over which pants and socks and would best look with his brand new white shoes. And of course, in true Dominic style, the ones that I told him to wear, the socks that I can't remember if he He was wanting, I thought the black ones looked better because he had black pants. And of course he went with the white ones because that's what we do, right? So he had every day, he would ask me what I thought he should wear, and then he'd wear the opposite. So he wore the white socks with his white shoes. And he left my house about 3:30. He went to lunch with my nephew, his very best friend, who had been out of the country, or out of the state for a month, along with 3 of his best friends. 2 of them were in Georgia staying with their mom. One, Ronan, my nephew, was in Boston with his grandfather, and his other one had been in England for 2 weeks. So most of his best friends were out of state for the month of July. His 2 next best friends happened to have dinner with their parents before coming out that night. I looked at it was a Thursday, and he had gone out, a couple of nights, and I kind of didn't want him to go out, but I looked at the calendar, and we were taking a family vacation in the end of July. He had to get his wisdom teeth removed, and he had soccer tryouts coming up. So when I looked up the calendar, there was 5 more nights of summer left for my kid. So I'm like, you know what? Go out. Let me know what you're doing. Because why, you guys don't do anything anymore. Is that just me? Like, he would just go and meet up with friends and then do something from there. But I would always be like, what, are you like going to a movie or going to Topgolf or anything? So he'd meet his friends, and then he texted me a couple of times throughout the night and said, okay, we're at Joe's house. He's eating dinner. I'll let you know where we go next. That text was at 6:09. At 7:09, he got in a car with a kid that he just ran into at that park. 7:09, they went north on Sheridan, took a left on Dillon Road, exited Dillon Road, and at 7:13, intoxicated driver didn't just run a yellow-orange light, it was a red light. And he even said in front of the district attorney, I knew I shouldn't be driving, and I was just trying to beat the light. It was red, and he knew it, and he didn't think anything could happen. Down the off-ramp was a FedEx semi-truck. Hit the vehicle, it spun around, landed in the middle of the intersection, hit another car that had a dash cam that recorded the whole thing. The driver and his friend in the front seat, the car came to a rest, and they're like, holy crap, we just crashed. And they looked at each other like, okay, you're okay? Okay, I'm okay. They look in the back seat to see their 3 mangled, bloodied friends struggling to survive. My son. I didn't get to see him go to senior prom. I went to his graduation where there was a small white rose on a vase right in front of the podium. He's got a little sister. She'll never have nieces. He'll never be an uncle. He won't get married. I won't get to have an adult relationship with my kids. Like, this is something really cool that your parents are looking forward to, and I know this is a really tough time for you because all they do is tell you no. They're really looking forward to someday being able to be adults with you and have funny conversations and talk about important things in life that aren't just telling you no. I'd never see him play another soccer game. I'd never see what kind of grown-up he'd become. And I'd never again watch him pull away from our driveway and say, I love you, Mom, and roll up the window and drive away. Next one. These are not the senior pictures I envisioned. We never got to do senior pictures. I did get to see all kinds of adults go through their senior challenges when they would all post pictures of their sons throughout their life. But this is what I had. So was this crash a fluke? Next one. These are some of the same statistics or similar statistics, but every 39 minutes, someone dies in drunk driving crashes. Now, this is 11 o'clock in the morning. This has been a huge surprise to me that this happens all day long. I would always tell my son, make sure you get home safely. His crash happened at 7:13 in the evening. The sun was still up. I wasn't even checking Life 360 yet. We all focus on make sure you get home safely, but think about what's happening when you're going from place to place. It's every time you get in a car. is that person safe to drive? So in the time we've been together, statistics show that somebody has died in a drunk driving crash. Every 79 seconds, someone is killed or injured in a crash. This is not a fluke, and this is the biggest killer for people your age. And like I said, every time Dominic left our house, he said, "I know, Mom. I hear you. Yep, I've got it." And we believed him. And he believed him. Just like you believe it when you tell your parents. Yep, I get it. Yep, I'll be there. But the statistics don't lie, and it can happen to you. So I want to talk about ways to make sure it doesn't happen to you. Couple, you gotta go. That's all right, thank you. In the months after Dominic was killed, I see the phenomenon develop. His friends will come up to me and say, "Oh, Mrs. DePalma, I'm so sorry. Look, I have Dominic's bracelet. I remember, I've learned, I have told some of my friends, I stood up to one of my friends and I took his keys and I hear you and I'm listening." But then I open up their social media, I see him on Snapchat and on Instagram, because I still have my son's phone, both his shoes and his phone. His brand new pair of shoes, 1 drop of blood on them. And how in the world my son died, but his phone is in perfect condition, I will never know. But these kids will tell me, "I've learned, Mrs. DePalma, I'm a better person because this Dominic, I will not go in vain." And then I open their Snapchat and you can tell by their eyes exactly what they are up to. And I just hope with all of my heart that they're not driving. Parents do the same thing. My friends will come up to me and be like, "Oh, this is so important. My son, he's changed. He really hears you." But it's the other kids that are doing this. And it's denial, it's a big thing. But the thing is, it can happen to us. So let's figure out how we can make sure that it doesn't. The next slide, and then I think we'll go on to probably 2 slides. So a lot of this, we've talked a lot about the frontal cortex, and I'm not gonna get into all of the things that, the blah, blah, blahs that you hear. But statistics also show that the more you hear those messages, the more you will process them. So your parents can't help but say the same things over and over again. And you can nod and roll your eyes at them, but they can't not say these things to you, because the more often they are said to you, the more likely you will hear them. And so I'm not going to get into the whole frontal cortex, but what I want to do is give you some survival skills instead. So we've had a whole presentation about impaired driving, and I hadn't realized that there was an actual term for when you are both drunk and on THC, but the driver of my son's vehicle was as well. And that's terrifying. In fact, just last week, have you ever been driving down a road and you see a blue sign that it says "dedicated to the memory of," and then it'll say, "Don't drink and drive"? Well, 2 weeks ago, one was put up for my son at the crash scene. And I actually chose, instead of drunk driving, and it does have to match, so they will look at the police reports and make sure that what you put on the sign is what happened. You can't just make up your own message. But I chose impaired driving over drunk driving. Number 1, because impaired driving covers both. But number 2, I don't think that you guys realize that drugged driving is impaired driving, and it's as dangerous and maybe more so. And I've heard a lot of high schoolers in my area say, I don't drink, and they're, "Yeah, but I do gummies," or whatever. And I'm like, how can you get in a car after that? So if you think of all the things that can happen, DUI, we spoke a bit about DUI. I really truly think that's about as much as your brains can comprehend of really understanding the worst thing that could happen if you got a DUI, if you drove drunk, is a DUI. So a thing that's very important to understand is that adults, speaking of the development of the brain, are different than you. So even the legal limit of a DUI is 0.08% for an adult. But I didn't even know until about a year ago that your legal limit, do you know that your legal limit is substantially lower than that? A legal limit for your age is 0.02%. So while you might see adults, and I'm not condoning this, but you may see adults get together over dinner, have a beer or a wine or 2, and I'm not condoning this, but their legal limit is 0.08. their brains are more developed, and quite often, they are heavier than you too. And so you see this modeling behavior and you think that it's okay. But reality is at 0.02, that is one drink. So at your age, if you have one drink, you will get a DUI if you get pulled over. It's black and white. So you can hear adults say, it's okay, I've only had one, I'm okay to drive. You can't take that behavior for you because there's a different standard. They're okay to drive at 0.08, you're not okay to drive at 0.02. So if you get an adult in a car with an adult who's okay to drive, that is very different from if you have seen a kid, one of your friends, with one drink in their hand. They're impaired and you should not get in the car with them. It's black and white. There is no argument of, oh, it's okay, I'm okay. It's been a couple of hours, I'm okay. It's black and white. Find a way not to get in a car with that kid. The cost, so some of you are working your first jobs? We raise some hands. How much are you guys making an hour? $17.50, $15? Awesome. The average cost of a DUI is, let me make sure I get this number right, $13,530. Average cost of a DUI in Colorado. So at minimum wage, $14 an hour. So so if you're making like 17 an hour, you have to work over 900 hours to pay for a DUI. That's working for nothing. 900 hours. Like if you're working, I can't even count how many months it would take you guys to do that. So you're working for absolute free just for making one bad mistake. But then I remember when I was your age, and your parents do remember being your age too, which is partly why they're so terrified, because they want you to make it through alive. But I remember when I was your age and thinking, well, if I did drink and drive, probably the worst thing that could happen is, I would hit somebody and I'd live with that for the rest of my life. And that's real, and that's awful. Like to live with taking someone's life, that's pretty awful. But in my case, my driver killed someone he knew. He killed one of his friends. Okay, can we do the next slide? And the video? Oh,
Yeah, I think I can go to it if I
okay.
seem to figure out how to do the
Okay,
last
good.
one, so let's see.
So while she's pulling that up, I'll go ahead and tell you about, so the 17-year-old who killed my son, he wasn't able to go back to school the next Monday. He's outcast. He's shunned and bullied and teased and hated. And he ended up having to leave the area just so that he didn't have reminders. He has reminders all of the time, but he doesn't have the in-your-face reminders every day of what he did. We've put benches up in his honor, and they have his name emblazoned, and this kid would have to go out of his house. And we put him in the parking lots, so you guys, if you congregate at night and you kind of all come together in one place, we put the benches in the places where people congregate so that they can look and see his name and remember. I'm not gonna do that. That's what happened to Dominic. So, but this kid, he lives with this for the rest of his life. He has to do urine analysis. He has to do community service. But the biggest thing is he killed my son. He killed his friend. And he has to live with that.
The video just isn't on.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, I'll have to mess with it.
Okay, so the video that I wanted to show you, and I almost want to reenact it. It is a man who was passed out, came to in the hospital, surrounded by not by doctors, by police officers. And he's like, oh my gosh, what has just happened? And he's looking around and they're like, you're gonna have to come with us. I think his name is Patrick. He's like, what's happening? What are you doing? And he's like, you caused a crash last night, and we're pretty sure there's a person that's still on life support, but they are not going to make it. And he is agonized. No, dear God, take me now. I just killed someone. And he's buckled over, and they can't even get him to move. And he's bawling and crying and in tears. And they have him, he's like, I can't stand up, I can't walk. So they bring in a kind of a wheelchair, shackle him to the wheelchair. And he is just waking up to the reality of what he had done. And that's exactly how the driver of my son's car feels every day. The passenger in the front seat, he's got it best. He had no injuries, but he has full recollection of everything that happened. He's the one that once in a while I'm brave enough to say, hey, because I didn't know him or his mom, but in the time since I've become friends with his mom, he's willing to answer some of my questions like, can you tell me what song they were listening to? Can you tell me, I can fathom where they were hit. Can you tell me where the car came to a rest? He remembers all of that and is brave enough to tell me when I ask. He also has left the area because he can't. His mom describes him as being haunted by what happened. The two in the back seat, they don't remember anything, but they can look at the scars going down their chest from the surgeons opening them up. And the other one has, his legs were torn up and still has trouble walking. And his jaw was wired shut because his face was so messed up. There's no pretty side to DUI. So, let's get on to how to change denial into survival so that it won't happen to you. Look at your friends. We talked about this a little bit earlier. If your friends are doing something dangerous, it's really, really impressive and mature if you're able to say, guys, stop, someone's going to get hurt. And I would be the first one on a podium cheering for you if you were able to do that. But I have trouble doing that. I will tell you, I'm not proud of this, but I have sat in the last 20 months since my son was killed by a drunk driver. I have sat with people who I have a feeling probably had too many adults, people my age, who probably had too much to drink, and I wasn't even able to tell them, yeah, probably shouldn't drive. I just got up and left. If you can tell them, this is dangerous, don't do it, please do. If you can't, quietly, like she said, passively, get up and get yourself out of there and take a few of your friends with you. Who are your friends? If your friends are doing dumb things, someone's going to get hurt, and you want to be far away from there. There's an old phrase that nothing good happens after midnight. Maybe at your age we could say 1 a.m., especially with prom, but is there really a reason to go somewhere after prom? It's 4 o'clock in the morning, go home. Because if the longer you stay out, the higher the chances are of something terrible happening to you, and then you don't get the chance next weekend to go out again. Go home. Ditch your car. This is a hard thing to do, is like you've got your car out and it's in a parking lot and you realize I probably shouldn't be driving, or my friends shouldn't be driving. You're in the situation where you're making a decision to either have somebody impaired get in the car or not. And all of these things will come through your head. What if they get towed? What if it gets broken into? What if their parents get mad? We're gonna have to call them, we're gonna have to find the car tomorrow. It's gonna be walk of shame, like, oh my goodness, sorry mom. And your parents, they are going to get mad. They are gonna be like, what were you thinking? And yelling at you, and you might get grounded, and you're gonna go to school. Like if you get a DUI, you're gonna go to school on Monday morning. Someone's going to have put that up on Snapchat, and all your friends are gonna know. You're gonna walk down the halls on Monday morning, people are gonna be like, ha ha, you got a DUI. It's embarrassing, at the very least. Park your car, call your parents. I promise you, they would rather pick you up and figure out how to get your car tomorrow than spend 5 hours watching you take your last breaths on a ventilator. And if they tell you otherwise, tell them Dom's mom told me to call you, and tell them my story. And say, please calm down, Mom. I know you're mad, but Dom's mom told me to call you, and tell them about this presentation. because nothing is more important than you guys getting home. We mentioned Lyft or Uber earlier. I don't think, you might know something different. I don't believe that Lyft has an option for people under the age of 18. Uber does. There's teen Uber. Your parents have to set it up. They go through they tap on account. They set up a family profile and tap an account. Does anybody have teen Uber?
Or do you guys have Uber? Doesn't, yeah?
No, they don't check.
They don't check, so.
Yeah, and which is good. I mean, good and bad. But yeah, take Uber. If your parents allow you to have teen Uber, your parents pay for it too. Awesome. You're going to have to explain why, but it's better than the other consequences. And I thought that I was very brazen to think about telling lies, but this is another way of protecting yourself passively. I want you to think about 5 lies you can tell if you're in a bad situation. Oh, my coach just texted, we have practice early tomorrow morning, I got a bolt. Or, my mom just texted me, she's at her friend's house, like a block away. I'm gonna go home with my mom. Your mom might not be anywhere, you might not know how you're gonna get a ride home. Get out of the situation so that you can find a different alternative, a safe way home. So think about any kind of lies that you can tell. I love this one. I don't know what's going on with my stomach. I'm sick, dude. I might even throw up in your car. You don't want me to throw up in your car. Nope, I'm good. I'll find my way home. Walk away. Tell whatever lies you can to get out of that situation. And then for those going to prom, take the promise. Honor my son. It's the only thing I have. To be here and hope that one of you is faced with a decision and you take the smart way out. That you don't get in a car with your friend, your dangerous friend. That you make it home. So take the promise to honor my son, to remember that it can happen to you, and figure out a way to keep it from happening to you. Never drive after drinking anything. Did that make sense? One drink means you're impaired? One drink means your friend is impaired. Find another way. Remember how valuable you are. It doesn't matter how much you are butting heads with your parents, how much you fight with them, how they want to keep you from having fun or going to concerts, or that your curfew is 2 hours earlier than anybody else's. They love you. And everything they're doing is trying to keep you safe. Because like I said, they remember being your age. And they remember how dangerous it is. So while their rules might seem a bit too much, they want you to come home alive. So your life is valuable. Your parents need you. They need you to be alive. They need you to be safe. So when their words are coming out of their mouths and you're thinking that they are crazy and mean and terrible, at the root of it is love and a lot of fear. Because they don't want to be standing here, I promise you that. And remember how awful it would feel if you killed your friend. Or you killed your friend. Or someone not in this room killed your friend. Take the promise, get home safely. I do have some bracelets here and stickers as well. Oh, and it did say in the 9 News, we have set up a scholarship if you have any soccer players or athletes. So we do have we're just now opening applications for our scholarships, but this is also to our website too. So if you want to, we do have stickers and bracelets here. If you want more information about Dominic's story, about how to stay safe, about the scholarship, anything, doitfordominicd.com is also through the QR code. But I do have bracelets and stickers for you guys. Wear those as a reminder. Kids all over have this on their wrists, and then I just hope that they think, just for a second, I'm not gonna do that. They see the green and go, I'm not gonna do that. That's my hope for you if you'd like to take bracelets or stickers. We've in Broomfield, all of the cars, you can barely go somewhere without seeing Dominic's sticker on cars. or water bottles. Put this on as a reminder. Your DD will get you home. Dominic's initials were DD. How ironic is that? Don't forget. A DD will get you home. Make wise choices. Get home safely every night. I appreciate you guys being here. I know this is heavy stuff and it's not fun, but you've been very attentive and I'm very grateful. Do you guys have questions for either one of us? Just let us go. Is it lunch next?
Yeah. What, if you don't mind answering, what were the consequences for the who was driving?
Okay, so the driver of my son's vehicle, he blew a .096, so he would have been legally drunk even at an adult age. He got 1 count of vehicular homicide, 2 counts of vehicular assault, DUI. He loses his license for a year. He can't drive. He has, I think he's got, I don't remember how much, he's got 2 years of probation, so he's monitored. He has to take random urine tests. I mean, it happened all the time. It's not like monthly, it's several times a month. And then he'll have to do several hours of community service as well. So for 2 entire years, his life has changed. He's completely, he did online school. He now has transferred to Colorado Mesa University because he didn't want to be around here. If he were 18, if it happened 7 months later, it would have been an entirely different story for him. He would have had a lot more jail time. And he got 120 days of jail, which doesn't bring my son's life back. And my hope is that he learned. And I hope you guys never have to learn that way. Anything else?
Well, I just want to say thank you to Tami, because I know that is not an easy thing to do, to get up in front of people she doesn't know and tell her story, and she's just very brave. Thanks for all your attention. I know we talked for a long time, and you guys were awesome, and mostly we want you to have fun and be safe, right?
Yep. You can have fun.
Yep.
We do want you to have fun too.
And bracelets and stickers